Gnashing of Teeth, episode 11. Boom. Episode 11, G. What do you think?
Episode 11, banging them out.
We're banging them out. I'm
Can't
Kate.
believe we're already here.
We're here. I'm Casey.
Right? I'm Mila.
Today we wanted to talk about a book called uh, The Grand Grimoire, or let me adjust my thing here. Or they call it, the Red Dragon. I think it's called something, and there's like a Latin word for it too. But anyway,
Mhm.
published supposed to be around in the early 1500s. Um, there is someone out there who thought that they're all fakes and that there really is, there really is an original one out there. Um, and who's to say with the occult? But
Yeah.
the one cool thing that I've heard about it is that the Vatican, right? So we all know the Vatican has this huge library that no one can enter it, no one can be in it, and it's just massive.
Mhm.
And they say that they have the original Red Dragon or Grand Grimoire, and they've tried to burn it, and it won't burn. It's impervious to fire, which is strange because you would think, demon books is, all about hell and fire. You think you just burn right up. Uh, anyways, so that's a cool thing, and that's what when I read that, uh, I read the book. I don't have it. It's not even in my PDFs that I cheat with I'm cheating on the occult with PDF. I don't even have it there. So I have read it several times. It is
To be fair to you, occult books can be expensive, so I don't blame you for PDFing. I've never PDF, but I can't blame you.
I feel like yeah, I feel like that's a well, lend me some money then. Money bags. If you can sit and buy all these numbered books and stuff, send me some cash. I'll buy them.
Maybe one of these days. Do you think that it was written in the 1500s?
Oh, I think it's earlier than that. I think everything that's when it was supposedly like in book form, or I'm sure there wasn't publishers in the 1500s, so I guess I misspoke there, but it was put together then. So I guess, it's consisted of two books, and then the second book is consisted of two parts. So it is pieced together. So let me go back.
Mhm.
I guess it was pieced
Mhm.
together in the early 1500s. And that's what, 1521, 1524. Not really sure, but it's a pretty typical grimoire where, there's spells how you can fall in love. There's spells where you can be invisible, which I don't recommend at all because it's not what he means. And then there's other things of finding treasure and wealth and things like that. But there's a part in the book where you can actually sell your soul to the devil. Okay. And
Mhm.
that's a huge thing, uh, really outside of the occult. Right. So there's stories about all the musicians going to the crossroads, selling their soul to the devil to be able to play guitar. Right. There's movies about it.
Mhm.
Robert Johnson's the famous one. He was awful. People were like, get off stage. The guy leaves for a couple weeks, goes to the crossroads. The devil shows up, tunes his guitar, and he comes back and is just fat. He just fabulous, right? So
Right.
it's the selling of soul. Another thing cool about Robert Johnson, I'm totally changing this to Robert Johnson. I don't mean to, but like his songs were like hellhounds are on my trail, and like, just really some dark lyrics after that had happened. Uh excuse me. So for the first time, there's an opportunity for the reader to do a ritual and bring in, you can bring in this entity, this guy, Lucifuge Rofocale. You might have a better picture than me, but that's kind of him. He's got like this little circle and he's holding like a bag. It looks like he dropped a bag of potatoes. I don't know what he's doing. He's got like three weird horns. Um, but you summon
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the dragon tells you to summon this cat. This cat shows up as a spell and to do that. And he's the one that's like demanding some kind of like give me something or like you know what I want like sell your soul and that whole thing. So I always love the whole thing of like I don't want to sell my soul, but it was always intriguing in the history of the occult of people who would sell their soul to the devil for like riches and greatness or whatever. And then here it is in the book. I
Right,
mean, like Lucifuge
right,
Rofocale
right,
is like saying, "Yeah, man, sign the book, and we're in."
right,
What do you think?
right, right. So I actually think that it's written a lot later, probably the 1700s.
Ah, okay.
Um, I think it's more modern. Apparently the Grand Grimoire, like the introduction chapter, was wrote by Antonio Benveniciana or
Yes,
something like that,
that is.
Rabina,
Yep, correct. That's right.
and he was said to have gathered the writings from Solomon. So it's very Solomonic in nature. I think it's off. I think it's an off-brand, you know, the Key of Solomon, basically.
Is
And
Lucy
not to discredit it.
is Rofocale in the 72 demons? I don't know. I don't know if he is. Like if it's based
I
off
think
Solomon stuff, then you would think that his entity would be in the book somewhere. I don't know if that
right, right.
it could be. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. And at the same time, I don't think it is, but I could grab the book. Um, the whole idea of the red dragon is basically Lucifuge and Lucifer. And while we're on the topic, he's supposed to be the prime minister of hell. Is that correct?
He is supposed to be.
That's his title.
He is titled the Prime Minister. Yeah, and so like I don't know what there's kings and dukes and princes and everything, and then there's the Prime Minister. So I don't know if that's a
Okay.
is that a fantastic title or is that a bad title? He's got a title,
Well, they all have titles, right?
right?
Some are presidents, some are this and all that. And I think that's a very human concept that we put on demons. Just a personal opinion, because we all love titles.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good point.
I do want to, I do want to, I do want to point out his image because I also have an image of him.
Yeah.
He looks noticeably flamboyant, with his goat legs and his tail. He kind of looks like he just got off of the circus. He's got a hula hoop in his hands. He does have that sack of potatoes that you were talking about, and a little bit of a skirt going on, and three horns. He looks pretty interesting.
Show,
Right out of a circus.
put yours up to the camera because yours is better than mine. That's
I don't know if
that's him. Yeah,
it's the
no.
same as yours,
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah. That's the drawing.
but
That's the drawing you get when you look him up. That's it.
yeah, that'd be cool to see if you were at a crossroads, though. That's for sure.
Well,
Um,
yeah. Who knows?
um, the cliche spells and about, making yourself invisible, like you said, winning money or like the lottery and all kinds of worldly gains. Like I said, is a bit cliche and we've kind of seen, but those are kind of all grimoires. Um, it does talk about commanding spirits and talks about necromancy, the red dragon, and I guess you could also include the Grand Grimoire into that. Um, yeah, reminds me of very Solomonic practices. but nothing wrong with that. Lucifuge is a cool name when you compare it to Lucifer, because I'm pretty sure Lucifuge Rofocale means like fleeing light, or something about, kind of the opposite. So like we know Lucifer is the light
The
bearer,
light bearer,
right?
and then Rofocale. So his whole name represents leaving the light,
I think it's fleeing light. But I think
running.
that's like you could, if you look it up and like you break it down, I don't know if it's Latin or Hebrew, but it's like fleeing light of some sort. But yeah, yeah, interesting character. He's known to be a trickster, as you said, with the whole soul thing, and he's known for pacts. I think E.A. Co-Wedding, doesn't he have a book on him? And it's basically a book of pacts,
I
or
think
that's like the subtitle of
EA's
something.
got EA's got a lot of stuff. I'm not sure what all he has. Um, but if you were going to become a living god, you'd certainly want to talk to like Rofocale for sure. I would.
Yeah,
That
for
is
sure.
one of the main staples in the occult, is that book, and absolutely the conjuring of him. It's just so specific
Hmm.
of conjuring him. Most
Hmm.
most occult books are like, do this, do that, do this. The lesser key came in and said you can kind of get these guys, but doesn't really explain the detail of the trial and error of how to do it. And that book kind of tells you. It's odd because in the book, I just remember significantly that uh, Lucifuge Rofocale gets summoned, and he's like, "Ow!" Like whoever summoned him is like doing the King Solomon thing. You're spot on. They're trying to do the "you work for me, I'm the dictator," right? It's that whole
Hmm.
controlling. I think it goes back and forth for a few pages in the book where I'm sure of it actually, where he's summoned, and he tells the magician, "Stop hitting me with your wand." And and then the magician says, "I won't unless you do this for me." And then Rofocale comes back and says, "Well, I can't unless you sign this, you give me what I want." And then it's back to the same thing. "Ow, stop hitting me with your wand." And he's like, "Well, you need to do my bidding."
Hmm.
And he says, "Well, I will, but you need to sign the book," and or whatever. And so this circles around for a long time. I actually don't remember how it ends up. Uh, it's a grimoire, so I'm sure the magician in the end works for him, or maybe he signed the book. I don't know, but it might be the first moment. And if someone out there knows this better than me, because I love the selling of your soul story and theory.
Hmm.
It's a cool thing. I mean, if people want this very short life to be really great and have their afterlife ruined forever, I mean that's a pretty cool that's a pretty cool concept, and it's pretty ballsy to do it too. And so if people choose that, it's a really selfish move. But yet, who are we to say when we
So
ask,
do you
when
think
we're asking for some help too, right?
that's true? But you think so? So do you think like selling your soul is real? Not to get off topic, but
No,
do you think it's possible?
no, yeah, no. So I think you taught me that selling your soul didn't mean you sold your soul. It meant you can let that, well, maybe you didn't. It's equivalent. So selling your soul to a fallen angel or a demon or whatever, an entity, I thought, maybe it doesn't matter who. I thought it was you. It's equivalent to kind of a possession, kind of a, I will let you in and you can kind of be part of this or for a little bit or whatever, or I'll give up something, but it's not your soul. Like you're letting them
Right.
in, and they call it that, or somehow they called it that, or I don't know. What if it's just like an old wives' tale. What would happen if my grandmother's grandmother walked into my room that was tattooed and you could see your own breath and it was insane in there? Well, she'd say, "Oh, yes, you signed the book. You sold your soul." I think it's a wives' tale, but I also think there's a modern thing you can do that's the real actual selling your soul, but
Like an equivalent.
yeah, but your soul's not for sale. No one can get it. That's yours. You know.
Right. Right. I th I think it's a modern day equivalency to like kind of a devotion. Nobody knows like if like what the afterlife holds, whether, I quote unquote sell my soul to, let's say, Lilith, and I devote to her. If in the afterlife I go to, a realm that's with her, like nobody really knows. I think it's just a modern day kind of devotion. And if you're summoning Lucifuge and he's like, I want your soul, I don't know if like when you die you're gonna go to hell and like serve him per se. But maybe you would devote yourself to him in this life and help him in this life, and perhaps your afterlife will sort of follow his energy per se. But I don't know if like Lucifuge has a realm. Like I doubt they all share a quote unquote hell, right? But nobody knows. Nobody knows, right?
Well, you're not going to know till you die. Now, E.A. Keating, if I pronounce his name right, uh,
Co-editing, I think
co-editing. Yeah, we're going to try to get him on the show. Anyway,
we should.
no, we totally should. He someone I don't know what it was. It was like a question and answer with him back in the day when he was really flourishing back then. And
Mhm.
someone had asked, you're going to go to hell or something. And he goes, no, because I can do uh, the astral projection. I can leave my body. I see things. I have dreams. Like he's got people helping him. And he said, I already saw where I'm going. And it's not hell. So no, I'm not afraid. Now that I know where I'm going,
Right.
I'm not afraid anymore. And I think that's when he really cranked up, his occult work and the ritual stuff like he did with Azazel or Azazel. I don't know how you pronounce it, but he did a lot of work like he really upped his stuff with working like with the
Yeah,
black.
he went through like the nine princes or something. So he started with Belial and then went to like I'm totally gonna get this out of order, but went to Abaddon and then Azazel and then Beelzebub, and he like quote unquote devoted like 6 months of hard work to each daemon and wrote a book about it apparently. So
EA's a bad dude, man. He's a bad dude. I'd love to get him on the show. Um, anyway, let's not talk about him anymore. There's some things to work out there. But um, I do love the blues tradition of selling your soul. I love the fact that the
mhm.
red dragon allows you to sell your soul. Even in today's music, I'm on TikTok, and TikTok's a fucking, excuse me, a joke most of the time, but and
I'll
lo-
edit that one out.
and probably lies. Yeah, you're the editor. You're not going to edit nothing. Just leave it in. No one's even going to notice, but they are going to now because you're the editor. The
I'll make
editor,
sure to like highlight it and slow it down a little bit.
no, put one of those bubbles that just say it real big, like in pow. Anyway, uh, yeah, I don't remember where I was. I don't remember where I was
You
going.
lost your
I
train of
I
thought.
cussed, and I freaked, and then you hit me up. I don't know. It was
So if you were 20
all about selling your soul and how they all fit, right?
and so you like that concept?
I don't like the concept. I just like the mythology of it.
The mythology of it. Yeah, that's fair. That's
You know what I
fair.
mean?
That's fair.
Like it's always so, I'm a musician and I play
Mhm.
guitar. And so I love there are guitar players who think they know where the crossroads is and they actually go there and they'll sit at the crossroads and just honor the myth of it.
Mhm.
I'm not saying
Right.
they're not selling their soul, but like they honor the idea, and it's just guitar legend, man. Like it'd be like going to Jimi Hendrix's grave, go to the crossroads, go see Eric Clapton. I mean, that's the thing, man. That's like in the guitar. So selling your soul was always a huge thing for me. Um, I never really understood it because the idea would be you're going to give me these worldly things, and then when I die, you get me. But like you said,
Mhm.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean you get me? Like, do I reincarnate and then you got my back? That'd be killer.
Right.
I would do that all day long. If we reincarnate and I get a fallen angel to help me, bro, think about it. Maybe selling your soul ain't so bad. We just don't know what it is. We don't know what it
Right.
means, and we don't know the afterlife, so it's just a wash.
I'd be interested. I'm not a very historical person. I don't know a lot about various mythologies and stuff, but selling your soul is a relatively modern thing, I believe. You don't hear it in the Greek pantheon and the Greek mythology. I don't think you do. I don't think you hear it in Sumerian religion or anybody else about selling souls. It's more about honoring and revering entities, gods, and things like that. It wasn't necessarily popular until Abrahamic religion came in, Christianity, and demons want your soul and hell and things like that. So that might add to the whole thing of the soul not being like actually something that you can sell. It's you. And if you decide to devote to Lucifuge Rofocale, you're not selling yourself to him and you're not going to go to hell in chains and binds. But perhaps when you die, you'll go towards his energy and realm if he has one.
Well said.
If he's real. I've
well,
never invoked him.
well said. Selling your soul could be totally demonized by like the Catholic Church or the Christians. I mean, it totally could.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to put them down because I love them too. But like it sounds like that could have happened, you know.
Yeah.
Well, why is he so good? Well, the devil. Well, here we go again. Like, come on.
Right. And then it got popularized and that's why they use them in songs. Like how you said the blues player, what was his name?
Robert Johnson.
So you said that he had hellhounds at his door, right?
Oh,
So what if
he sung about it, right?
right, so what if he just took the criticism and ran with it and he kind of embodied it, right? Like it's a gimmick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Perfect. Heavy metal's been doing it for years.
yeah.
There's a story about Black Sabbath. They were actually a blues band called Earth, and they were all sitting at this park, and they're watching people line up at a movie theater. And it was those old like Boris Karloff or Boris. What he's like one of those first like villain actors. And the
Mhm.
movie was called Black Sabbath or something like that. And the line was out the door and around the block. And no one's ever seen a line like that. And the blues band Earth, which was Black Sabbath at the time, Ozzy and the boys, they look at each other and they go, why do people pay to be scared? And then
Mhm.
instantly they changed. They're like, we're gonna write metal and we're gonna write rock and roll and we're gonna have scary lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is, excuse me, which is a gimmick. I mean, they
Mhm.
admitted, I mean, they totally admitted like we changed to do that to sell albums. So, I
Mhm.
mean, there's money in the devil and selling your soul and that whole thing. You're right. You're right. It's more popular now. Well, what happened on there was an awards thing that everyone's freaking out about. That was some big, it just happened. It just happened. It was like some big satanic ritual, you know, and I forget what it was. Everybody's dressed in red. Some guy named Sam, and the whole thing's nuts. I don't know. I don't watch that crap. But it almost seems like there was the satanic panic, and then there's like this kind of break. And then there's this moment where everyone could just choose. Everybody just kind of be what you want to be, and everybody just get along. And now everything's turning pretty dark, I think. Like everyone's blaming this guy's throwing up the Illuminati sign. This guy's, all these guys worship Lucifer. The Freemasons eat babies, and just, it's starting to get a little bit out of control again with the devil and the evil thing in the media, I guess, with artists in the media.
Right. Right. But it creates gossip.
It does, yeah,
And
it
so
does.
maybe it just gets some more views, more streams and stuff. I think the person that you're referring to is Sam Smith, and he created a song, Unholy, I think is what it's called. And he was dressed in all red and had all red dancers and stuff. And he's not the only one that, goes on the gimmick of quote unquote satanic, but I don't, again, I just think it's a gimmick. I don't think they're doing anything. They're probably drinking champagne at their house watching Netflix. I don't think they're doing some hardcore rituals.
I agree. I think most people do it for the money. I think a lot of occultists do it for the money too. You know,
Potentially, yeah.
yeah. I mean, you try their spells and they don't work. You follow their practice and it doesn't work. Well, I know why you were in it. You know, and
Yeah.
the ones that do work, which are the ones that you and I talked about, that's legit. That's legit occult stuff. You know, and
Mhm.
I think the people who want to be guests on our show would be honest people who believe in it, and the ones that don't probably just might be gimmicking just for money. I don't know. Or let me rephrase that. Or they don't want to be seen, or they don't want to be on a platform like this. Doesn't mean they're fake. I just want
Right.
to say that, right?
Right.
Doesn't mean they're fake. I don't want my identity everywhere. So I totally get it. So anything more on like the selling of the soul, the red dragon, Lucifuge
The,
Rofocale? What do you think? You got anything else?
no, I'd love to learn a little bit more of how he's connected to Lucifer, quote unquote. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe I'll do an invocation one of these days to him.
You know
See what
it's
happens.
what's funny is when you asked me to rewatch them for editing,
Hmm.
and because Milo and I both rewatch these, and we try to edit it to make it simple and fundamental for everyone to learn the occult. And there's so many things that we go off track and then come back, and it's like, man, we should go back to that because we've mentioned it before. And so
Hmm.
I might go back through them all, and dude, we might have like the last three I watched. There's some subjects you and I brought up that really aren't talked about. Um, you and I could reference some books and kind of figure that out. Um, one thing I would like to talk about, and the timer just went off, so we don't have time. But I just want to talk about it briefly, and then maybe it could be for another episode. They say, and this is just in the research. this is just internet research, right? This is just sitting at home, hours and hours on the internet, trying to back path and follow, who wrote this, who wrote that, and all this. And they say that the Grand Grimoire has a sister book. And again, I'm not, time's running out. I just want to throw this out there as a, to be continued maybe, or another episode down the road. They say there's a sister book or a brother book to that called The Black Dragon. And if anyone's listening to this, I want you to comment, or you can hit us up on Gnashing of Teeth podcast at Gmail. Does the Black Dragon exist? Because I can't find it. And I have found that they actually, let me see. It was actually called, and then just let me know when this is too close or too far. Can you see it, or is it too?
Let's go. The Black Pullet.
The Black Pullet. So they say this is the Black Dragon, but the Black Dragon never really existed. It was called the Black Pullet, and then which it's pretty phenomenal, by the way. It's really great, occult book. And then you find out that the Black Pullet and the Black Dragon could have totally been this book. It's called The Cross Keys. It's a yellow book, and it just has a pair of keys crossed. That's it. It's nuts. It doesn't even say crossed keys. It just shows the symbol. And then, like, any page you pick up, there's like symbols, and like it don't even matter where you are, man. You can just leaf through, and then boom, it's got some really great stuff. I'm sorry that I didn't get the signed hardback 13 out of 30. This is a paperback that I got because, I'm trying.
No, it doesn't matter.
I'm messing with you.
I enjoy collecting. It's a pastime now.
Me too. I do too. So if anyone, we are running out of time. Do you know anything about the history of that? Do you know anything about the Red Dragon had a sister book, the Black Dragon was the Black Pullet, the Pullet could be the Cross Key. Like, this whole thing is connected somewhere, and I don't know where. Maybe if
if somebody knows, please comment. I don't know. I don't have the Black Pullet. I don't have the Cross Keys. I do know that Peter Hamilton Giles, I think is his name, wrote a book. It's a hardcover. It's about $90. Wait, am I thinking of the right one? I think it's Peter Hamilton Giles. He wrote a. Why are you laughing?
Because you're always gonna throw in the whole. I go big, and I love that in you. But the words are the words, man.
I go big.
The words are the words. You go big.
How am I going big?
You go big in the occult. You buy the hardback. You buy the limited editions. Like, you are a true occultist. You collect. You're a true collector. You're a true occultist. I'm kind of this weasel occultist where I'm like, I print off the PDFs. I still have the word stuff.
It's not about work. It's about the practice.
Words.
I think for an occultist.
I'm saying I have the same
practice.
I have the same words you do.
Yeah. For sure.
But I'm not helping
about, like, the book.
But again, and this is for everyone watching, like, you should not do what I do. You should do what Milo does. You should put your money back into the occult. That way, the author gets more money to write another book. The publishing company gets more money to sign other occult authors. And that's, Milo's doing the right thing. Me printing them off, cheating it, is not what you do if you want to support the occult. And I apologize for that.
That's true. That's true, but desperate measures call for desperate actions. And again, it doesn't matter about the cover or limited edition. It's about the practice itself. It's about the action. It's what makes an occultist. Anyways, I was going off into Peter Hamilton Giles or whatever. I think he has a book on the Black Dragon, which is supposed to be highly rated. But that's all I know on the topic.
He wrote the Black Dragon, or he has info on the Black Dragon?
I highly doubt that he is the OG of the Black Dragon, but he wrote a book about it, I believe.
He wrote a
Don't
book.
quote me on that.
So there's a book about the Black Dragon, which is almost like the Necronomicon. Like it doesn't, does it exist or doesn't it?
Well, the Necronomicon's all over the place. There's many versions of the Necronomicon.
I
Are you
know.
talking about like the OG?
OG. I'm talking about the OG.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like dude wrote a book on a book. I mean, that's nuts. We need to get him on as a guest and talk about it. We got to get him on. Let's talk about it.
maybe
Send me the
potentially,
dude. Send
but
me
I
the
could be.
send me the dude's name.
I will, but I could be misquoting. I don't have the book.
Of course, yeah, no, but it's the same. He's writing what I've been through. He's saying if he has to write a book about the Black Dragon, he's saying I've heard of the Black Dragon, can't find it. It came here. It turned into this. It turned into that. They turned it into this. They rewrote it in here, right? It changed names here in Turkey. It changed
Mhm.
names back in, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we have like 24 seconds, bro. I have nothing else. I thought this is a great show. It opened up a lot of talking
Mhm.
points and we talked about a great entity and a good book. And like Milo, you want to finish with anything before we kick it?
No, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. All right, everybody. Uh, you know, subscribe to us, watch us, help us, comment, hit us on the email, and you know, our mission is to bring the cult world together, and we learn together, and that's what we're gonna do. So, and Milo
Mhm.
and I aren't gonna stop.
Sure.
So you can be part of it or you can't be, whatever. All right, everybody. I'm out. I'm out. G. Have,
All
have a good
right. See you, man.
have a good night, bro.
You too.